Good afternoon, people. Welcome to my live presentation today. My name is Eugenie. I am a life coach, a teacher, a mom, and all sorts of fun things that I do with my life. But I am here today to talk about a hot topic, and it is how to say no guilt-free. Yes. So obviously, I used to be a people pleaser. It was so difficult for me to say no. And with time, I've built some resilience, I've built some inner muscle, and maybe it's because I'm 50 and I have very clear ideas of what I need to have in my life that I would consider myself maybe not a black belt at saying no, but a serious brown belt. So I'm pretty good at it now. And I also have a skill called visualizing dialogues, something I'm going to show you how to do today in order to help you say no and feel guilt-free about it. So people, first of all, as you all know, you cannot just make time unless you're Chronos, god of time. You just can't. You get 24 hours, and that in itself is also a lie because you need to sleep, and so you can take 8 hours off. You also need to work, and you have to cook, do dishes, take the garbage out. You have to pick up the kids, take them to wherever. And so ultimately, if you think about it and you all count it down, you don't have that much time, and time is actually very precious. And once it's gone, it's not a renewable resource. It's gone forever. So I just want to be a little bit serious about that, just to put a bit of context, right? So today's topic is about saying no guilt-free, and I'm going to cover 3 things. The first one is going to be figuring out what you want to say yes to in your life, getting clarity about the non-negotiables. The second one is going to be observing your requester and translating the language into all-time Avengers language. Pick your heroes. And the third one will be just to say the truth. And I will give you a magic sentence for that. So the first thing is the most important, you guys. What is important to you? You can't say no unless you know what you want to say yes to in your life. So today, let's just quickly say, what is more important to you? So this is fairly easy, but also sometimes very difficult because we're busy. We have so many things. So if you can just write down right now 5 things that are so important to you, or maybe the 5 things that you're most grateful for, that will give you a good start. For example, is it having supper time with your family? Is it enjoying nature walks on Sunday afternoons with your children and with the dog? Is it just watching Netflix at night? You've had a long, long day, and then you get to the end of the day, and by God, you just want to sit there and do nothing for an hour. And that is your God-given right to do that if you want that. Is it having a coffee with a friend on every Friday afternoon? You want to connect with a friend, and that is in your schedule. Honestly, it can be just about anything. Usually those important things are related to your values of health, of connectivity, of growth, of family, joy. They will line up with your values, and they will be really important to you. And the other thing too, if you're not sure if it's super, super important, then you can ask yourself a scaling question. So, for example, if you feel that your Sunday afternoon walks with your friends or your family is important, you can say on a scale of 0, not at all, to 10, super important, can't live without it. How important is my afternoon walk on Sundays with my family? And if it's anything 8, 9, 10, then that is an important thing for you to have. Especially if it's a 10, then this is what I call a non-negotiable. Yep. And those non-negotiables, you need to know them in your mind. You need to carry them in your heart. You need to have clarity around it and just say, yep, I'm looking for Sunday afternoon. I love that. It makes me feel connected to my family. I'm walking outside and connecting with nature as well. It is joyful. It is wonderful. If I didn't have it, it would bug me. And yeah, you're allowed to feel a little bit angry because anger can be healthy as well. In this case, the thought of somebody taking that away from you is going to make you a little bit upset, and that is okay. because it is about saying no ultimately. So, yeah, that's the first part, you guys, is you establish with great clarity, with great love towards yourself and in your own life, what is important to you. What are your non-negotiables? Reading a bedtime story for your child at night, having your morning routine at the YMCA, and you feel pumped for the rest of the day. After school, some people go to the gym after school, some people do other stuff. And you decide. That is the foundation of saying no, is actually saying yes to you and what you love in your life. So that's the first step. And here I have a little tag friends on this. Wonder if I could just maybe tag my daughter and maybe a couple more friends. This is fun because I've never done it with my phone. So here we go. Okay, so the second step is the requester is going to approach you. And you know it, and you feel it. And that person is arriving, and you're like, oh boy, here we go. And they have that smile, and they're like, hi. And they're lovely, and they compliment you. Oh, you're so amazing at presentations. I love how you engage with people. You're the best at this. And you know what? We really need this presentation to happen in the next 2 days, because it's usually last minute. And you're the perfect person for it, because if you don't do it, it's going to be a catastrophe for the whole workplace, wherever it is that you work. And so there you are. You're facing a person who is asking a request that you just don't want to do. And you feel it in your body, and you feel it in your gut, and you feel it like you all feel cringy, and you wish you could crawl into something and disappear. And your whole body is just like, no, but you're in front of that person. And so this is when you start translating the request in your mind. This is when you use your superpower of a supermind, and you put, and I'm going to say this as lovingly as possible, I don't want to insult anybody, but if you're an Avengers fan, you're going to pick one of your villains. I pick Loki because he's super like sneaky, and he tries to smooth you over, and then he stabs you in the back. So that guy. He's got that little smile, and you know he's up to no good. Anyways, so you just kind of paste that character onto the requester. And then you're like, yeah, no, this is not going to work out. And the requester is going to make the request. But you're going to change that language. And it's not going to be, oh, can you do that presentation? It would be beautiful. Thank you so much, blah, blah. It will be, give me time with your child before bedtime or else. And turn it into the villain Avenger language. And then you, on your other hand, you can be a superhero. You can be whoever you want to be. Black Widow, Captain America, you name it. And you can just pull up those boxing gloves. You can be the Hulk too, why not? And you're going to say, in your mind, of course, you're not going to say this out loud. You're going to be like, I don't think so. Not over my dead body. You're going to take my nighttime routine with my kid. No, not going to happen. Right? So, of course, it's a little bit of humor here, but what is this person actually asking? They're asking for your time, and your time is valuable, as we have said, and it's very precious, and that 1 or 2 or 3 extra hours of whatever Loki just asked you to do is going to take you away from your fundamental rights to your own happiness on this planet, establishing and living the things that make you happy. So that person, Loki, the requester, is in fact taking away something very precious from you. They're taking away your joy. They're taking away time with your children. They're taking away your health. They're taking away your happiness. So these are super Avenger issues. So I invite you to play with the notion of the bad guy. Maybe they're not necessarily bad people. We understand that they have things to do as well. But just for the sake of this exercise, visualize Loki, visualize some kind of a sneaky person, and lovingly say, and this is part 3 of this webinar today. Part 1 was establishing what you need to say yes to in your life. Not even what you need to, what is yes in your life. What are your non-negotiables? Part 2 was to become aware in your body that you don't want this person to ask you something, and putting an Avenger's mask on them. And part 3, it's going to sound obvious, is you're going to tell the truth. And the truth is the following. You already have a prior engagement of the utmost importance that you cannot get away from. You can't, because it's already booked. Your bedtime routine with your kid, already booked. Your supper time with your family, can't get rid of that. Nope, it's already booked. These are all very serious prior engagements that you have made to yourself and to your family even before Loki arrived. Sorry, Loki. Don't call them that. But no, I'm already booked today and tomorrow. As a matter of fact, I'm booked every night for the next 18 years. And so that's that. Unless your priority is a 5 or a 6. So watching Netflix for you at night is just like, it's cool, it's all right, I could do something else. Then you can establish saying a yes. But unless you're a 10 out of 10 on how important this is to you, then you will just tell Loki the truth. I can't because I already have a prior engagement. And it's the truth. You don't even have to lie. You don't have to feel uncomfortable or anything like that. And so this is the part where you don't feel guilty because it's the truth. And you don't feel guilty because it's a fact that these things make you happy. Because if you do say yes to Loki, you will end up not liking yourself. You will be angry at yourself for saying yes. You will be angry at yourself for not spending the time that you need on this beautiful planet to live your life joyfully. And you're sacrificing your children. And you're sacrificing your health. And you're sacrificing your joy. And those are all super bad things that villains do in those crazy movies that, well, I personally watch maybe too many of. But that's pretty much it. So today, to wrap it up, my dear friends, so first of all, you got to establish with clarity your non-negotiables, what makes you happy on this planet, your values, and make sure that this is very clear. You wake up in the morning, you say, I'm going to do this, this, this today. These are my non-negotiables. So that when Loki shows up with a beautiful request, beautiful, full of beautiful compliments on your skills, because you are beautiful, then you can just say, oh, there's Loki asking. He wants to take my children away from me, the bad guy. And don't let him. And then you say, with truth, I'm so sorry, but I have a prior engagement. I am absolutely booked for the next 2 weeks. And then, if all else fails, people, this is when you say, I'm sorry, but I have to go to the washroom right now. And I'll get back to you later. And if you have to, just stay in the washroom as long as you can until you figure out your truth and until you figure out that you don't want Loki to take your children away from you or your joy or your health. There you go. Hopefully this was fun. And just leave me any messages if you have any questions. And it was great to see you. And I will see you again next week. Bye.